Hello everyone, in this episode, I'll introduce a key update to the add-on 4 new hair nodes. These nodes are interpolated hair, hair length modifier, hair noise modifier, and hair clump modifier. The interpolated hair node works similarly to the children section in the Hair Manager panel. While the hair length modifier, hair noise modifier, and hair clump modifier nodes correspond to their respective modifiers in the Hair Manager panel, the main difference is their presentation. Using these nodes allows you to transition your workflow to the node editor. Before we dive into the specifics of these nodes, let's briefly review how this add-on works. Previously, we covered the children, hair modifier, and hair shape presented in the modifier panel. Now, instead of the panel, you can also adjust these parameters in the node editor, which offers a more detailed fine-tuning experience for those familiar with geometry nodes. In the node editor, you'll find the geometry node for hair shape, which functions the same as the hair shape in the sidebar. The hair modifiers node replicates the functionality of the modifier panel but is implemented in a different way. Adding a length modifier in the side panel will also create a length node in the node editor, with changes synchronously across both interfaces. Now let's explore how to use the 4 new hair nodes. Since we have already covered the parameters under hair shape, children, and modifiers in the Hair Manager panel, we won't go into details about the parameters here. Instead, we will focus on how to use the nodes. Let's get started. First, create a new geometry node. Initially, the hair may appear quite thick, so we use a built-in Blender node to adjust the thickness. Press Shift+A to open the node menu, then find 3D Hairbrush. Hover over it and we see the 4 nodes: interpolated hair, hair length modifier, hair noise modifier, and hair clump modifier. Select the interpolated hair node, which generates children through interpolation. After adding the node, you see no change in the viewport. Drag the geometry of the hair generating object into the node editor, and connect the geometry port to the surface port of the interpolated hair node. To control the area of hair generation, add a named attribute node. Select the vertex group that controls the hair area, and connect the attribute port to the density mask. Let's then add the hair clump node using Shift+A. After adding it, we see an exclamation mark on the hair clump node, and the hair effect in the viewport doesn't change. See the prompt here, it means additional connections are needed. Search for and add a store named attribute node. Set its data type to integer and domain to spline. Connect this node to the hair clump node. Even after connecting it, the exclamation mark remains there, indicating that we need to input something in the name field. Input the prompt text shown on the hair clump node, guide curve index, and press enter. The hair in the viewport changes. Then, connect the closest index from the interpolated hair node to the value port. This will enable the clumping effect, allowing us to control hair with the hair clump node. Let's look at the parameters. The clump type for different generation methods, the kink type for different styling, which you can choose based on your desired effect. Then the curl type, curl and twist. To adjust the clump shape, we can use a curve to control it. Create a spline parameter node. And connect the factor port to the shape input of the hair clump node. This results in the root having the strongest clumping effect and the tip the weakest. Adding a float curve node allows further control over the clump shape. For curl styling, we can also use a curve to control it. Duplicate a float curve node and connect its value port to the kink amplitude weight. This way, we can simply control the curl styling via a curve. To affect only the hair tips, move the left point of the curve downward so the roots are unaffected, and adjust the right point slightly downward to decrease the curling effect at the tips. The other parameters are the same as those in the clump modifier of the Hair Manager panel, so we won't go over them again. This concludes the hair clump node usage. Next up is noise node. Let's directly connect it to enable it, and adjust the common parameters. Then adjust the threshold to control the percentage of hair affected by the noise node. The last node is the hair length node, similar to the length modifier in the Hair Manager panel. Scale controls the overall hair scaling, and cut trims the hair. Both parameters have threshold to control the percentage of hair affected. Influence controls the overall influence of the node, and seed randomizes the hair. You can also add other nodes in the geometry node editor to achieve the desired effects. These 4 hair nodes offer more control over hairstyling. If you are familiar with geometry nodes, you can use them to create more diverse and detailed hairstyles. This concludes the introduction to the updated features. We hope you enjoy and support our add-on. Thank you very much. See you.